Splitty City Slickers. Welcome once again to Hank's Think Tank, covering the craziest and cringiest in MMA news. And this week on the Think Tank, we have a shocking amount of happy, feel-good news for you guys. I know, once in a blue moon, for once, we have good news from Hank's Think Tank, including bullies getting humbled, past friends reuniting, big acts of good sportsmanship following UFC 311, actual records of fighter pay and the actual weight of the fighters come fight day, as well as of certain MMA legends continuing physical and mental recovery as per his good friend and lifelong gym mate. So we got a lot of good stuff for you, and I mean good stuff, like stuff that'll make you smile a little bit, especially in today's day and age. We need some good news, and finally we found some good news. It's getting scooped out of the trenches of Hank's Think Tank, and I gotta tell you, this is all good karma for Merab beating Umar at UFC 311. Has to be. With an undefeated Nurmagomedov getting pretty much fraud checked over 5 rounds, I think the MMA gods, the MMA universe rewarded us for finally finding the one to destroy Goliath. So they are very happy with our work. And this is all of us, you guys, not just Merab. It's all of us. We had it coming. We were all gathering our support around Merab. We were his life force, you understand, off of our pure just despising of that clan. But it's great. We got some good news for you guys. Some happy news, finally. Oh boy, Andrew Sphinx, this motherfucker. Off you go, buddy. There you go. Bye-bye. So there we go. That's one guy down. Yep. And there you are again. And I saw you in other people's chats too. You're a strange one, buddy. Anyway, yeah. So it's all good, man. It's all good. And it's going to be a lot of positive vibes here, folks. Hank got knocked the F out. That is right, AJ. I always get knocked the F out. I honestly don't know how I continue the show when I keep getting knocked the F out. I'm pretty sure I got CTE. Pretty sure I got to work for the GFL to make my retirement fund and health insurance at this point. I'm taking too much punishment from AJ. Every time he comes in here, bam, uppercut, flattens me. So I'm telling you, I'm halfway through my career. I'm like 3/4 through my career. Yo, what is up, Hank, bro? How's it going? Antoine Willis, welcome once again to the Splitty City Split Decision Combat Sports Podcast. That is a mouthful. And just like Weird Al said, you got to eat it. You got to eat that mouthful. Big W from Useless. And he's not useless after all. He calls himself Eucelius, right? Yeah, it's like a Greek name, right? Off like some god. What is good, Eucelius? Yeah, what is up? UCLA word, man. Word. But yeah, I mean, I've been covering all the big MMA news stories that have been breaking over the last 2 to 3 days. Usually I find at least half of the stories are very dramatic, very sad, controversial, shocking, negative stories. But this time around, man, we got some stories that actually made me very happy to be an MMA fan, and made me happy that I followed MMA news every week, because it finally paid off with some stories that make me feel optimistic as an MMA fan. How do you feel about the newly announced UFC 313 with Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev? That fight needed to happen. Fans have been waiting for that for almost, I believe, over a year now at this point. Let me think about that. He was supposed to take on Jamahal Hill. Now it hasn't been over a year, but it's been like at least half a year now. So it needed to be announced. And how many times did they push that aside? They had him fight Johnny Walker twice. He knocked out Walker. Then he had to fight Rakic instead of fighting Pereira, and Pereira had to fight Khalil Roundtree instead. So they've been pushing it a little bit. Honestly, it's not too bad. Like, there have been a lot of fights where, oh my God, Tony Ferguson versus Khabib, it's never going to get made. You might as well give up trying now. You know, for all this whining about, oh, he's running away from Magomed Ankalaev. Oh, he'll never fight. It took them less than a year to book it. So all that crying, all that, he's scared, he's ducking, it was all for nothing, I got to say. And then what was the other one? There was another big fight being announced for you. Oh yeah, it was Gaethje versus Hooker. Whoops. It was Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker is going to be the co-main event over 5 rounds, which is great because we know those two love to have a freaking war. Honestly, it just seems like the lightweight division is finding a way to have all these old crafty vets in the lightweight division who just will not go away. They just find a way to have them keep getting matched up against each other. It's good. We're going to have Gaethje, Hooker, Chandler, Poirier, Oliveira, just fighting each other forever and ever until the end of time. It really seems that way. Good. How about you, bro? All right. We got a community here. I'm happy. But there are other fights on that card, I believe. Yes. I remember. It's not just those 2 fights. There's more to it. Yeah, there's Lemos versus Lucindo. Ferreira versus Petrosian. I'm rooting for Ferreira there, although he looked pretty bad in his last fight, but we'll see how he does. Ozzy Diaz against Jordan. How the hell is Ozzy Diaz still in the UFC after he got destroyed in 1 round? That amazes me. Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall is actually a solid one. Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. I like that fight. Gutierrez versus Matsumoto. Dude, oh man. Denise versus Petrino got canceled. Honestly, that's sort of an card so far. I got to be honest with you. And it needs some more good fights in order to be something good. But I will say the main event and co-main event are fights that I think a lot of people wanted to see for a while. So in terms of the main card, I'm excited. But in terms of the whole card, looking a little nasty. I'm going to be honest with you. Check out this MMA nerd. All right. And this one. Okay, Western Mass Climber. Thank you, Western Mass Climber. Glad you're live as well, Hank. Yes, sir. Hope you guys are good. Thank you very much, Ulysses. I've got Dan Hooker in that one. I think I have Hooker as well. Sort of going off Guru's logic, but it's other people's logic too, that Gaethje's chin is starting to disappear a little bit. Dan Hooker is very hard to put away. He has a style that's good for 5 rounds. I mean, Hooker's been going to decision after decision after decision, whereas Justin Gaethje sort of needs the finish sometimes to really like put a stamp on his fights, whereas here I feel like Hooker is going to sort of play the long game, and I think his style of just pressure is bad for a fighter like Justin Gaethje. He's tough as hell. He gave Dustin Poirier a great fight, and I think he's going to do even better against Justin Gaethje. So yeah, I probably have Hooker. I don't know if it's going to be by knockout. It could be like round 4, round 5 knockout. That is not out of the question, but I think I have him winning a decision somehow, because he had went to a decision against Paul Felder all those years ago, and he wasn't able to finish him. Dan Hooker doesn't seem like much of a finisher, so I think he's going to beat up Justin Gaethje and either get a late stoppage or win a decision. But enough yapping about the prospects of future events. Let's talk about the present. Let's talk about the latest cycle in MMA news from Hank the Tank in the Think Tank. So let's get into our first story, shall we? Paddy Pimblett hard sparred with a 4-2 regional MMA fighter named Denise Frimpong. He had apparently been feuding with for a while, and in the video, both men went back and forth on the feet before Paddy took Denise down, scrambled to the back, and got the quick and easy rear naked choke, but refused to let go of the chokehold after the guy tapped. And everyone and their mother was sounding the alarm bells and screaming and cursing, trying to get Pimblett off of him. And members of the online MMA community responded to the video with anger and vitriol, saying he was unsportsmanlike. He would get banned from professional MMA. Hold on 1 second. I have to... Okay, sorry. Just had to answer someone's question. Anyway, continuing on. So the online MMA community responded to the video with anger and vitriol, saying he was unsportsmanlike. He'd get banned from professional MMA if he did the same thing. Was being a bully. Even dumbasses saying he should be placed behind bars for this somehow. Hey, Kobe Wiggle, good to see you. Oh, and Larry CTM is here as well. Always good to see Larry. Very consistent member of the channel and always a very positive presence. But people are not happy over this footage, just, on first glance. They're like, oh, Paddy. And again, of course, Paddy's the undefeated hype train, so everybody's got an opinion on him. I will say, you can't really compare Paddy's hate to Bo Nichols' hate, because Bo Nickel is starting to become a very annoying individual who is just like, I think it's like Pat was delusional with the Gordon fight, but I think he's been a pretty realistic guy since. Dude, Bo Nickel is just delusional all the time. Like he always gives some opinion on himself or certain fights that are just like way out of left field, and you just scratch your head a little bit, like thinking about. I feel like the Bo Nickel hate is way more deserved than the Paddy hate. But anyway, everybody's like, "Oh, Paddy's terrible for not refusing to tap on this guy when they had this hard sparring fight." But they all had zero context and zero familiarity with or care to research the events leading up to the sparring session. And it was actually Dennis who was bullying one of Paddy's friends and making fun of his dead grandmother during some tough ripoff from Octagon. Some Ultimate Fighter knockoff where they were all in the house, and this guy Denise was just lighting up fireworks and being an asshole to everybody. And apparently a buddy of Paddy's was like dealing with a loss, and he, the loss of one of his relatives. And this guy just like laughed at him and joked about him and just insulted him for this, which was just crazy. But he was not only doing that, he was starting shit with Pimblett on Instagram. So Paddy agreed to a fight and traveled from Liverpool to Manchester to settle their beef, where both men's conditions was that there were no taps allowed. You get submitted, you go out. And Dennis promised to knock Pimblett out. So Paddy made sure he got his full comeuppance and went out per their agreement. So he got in the rear naked choke and he refused to let go because both men said, "Hey, no taps. Nobody's allowed to tap." And the dude still tapped out anyway. So that says something about his character. By the way, we got a lot of new people in here. How's it going, everybody? Nick Diaz is recovering well, and I will get to that story eventually. Hey, Anakin's here. Good to see you, Anakin. Anakin is the GOAT at Split Decision Combat Sports Clips. Suga versus Merab 314, hopefully. Yeah, because Umar's the one who's getting surgery on his hand. Merab, I will say that Merab is dealing with some injuries himself. He was dealing with injuries on his left leg, like cuts up and down his leg, and he's broke his back at some point, so he might have to take some time off. I don't know if it's 314. It'll probably be a little later. Plus, doesn't Suga sort of have to, prove himself with a number one contenders fight or something? I don't feel like he just deserves a rematch immediately. Pimblett versus Beneil should be next. Well, Pimblett said, "I got some news for you, lads. See you at the top." It's clear to me that he's he hinted at fighting Michael Chandler. So even though that should be next, I don't think it will be. I'm also good at MMA. Yes, he's in his Dagestani arc. He's being trained by Javier Mendez. Gamrot said he wants to fight in UFC London. Okay, but is it still against Michael Chandler? Hey, what is up, Andy B? Good to see you. Gamrot versus Beneil. I mean, they already went at it before. It'd be a rematch. Paddy versus Chandler. I mean, that's the one to make, in my opinion. Andrew E. Yes, just stop by. Thank you, Andy. Let people talk shit about Pimblett. As usual, low IQ fans jump to the bandwagon of hate. They absolutely do. Now, I will say that there are some prospects who are just, as Paddy would say, absolute sausages, absolute worms, maggots, freaking toasted biscuits, man. So there are some that are worth the hate. But there are some that are not, and I think Paddy Pimblett is one of those examples. Sorry. Kobe! Anakin, have you applied for a matchmaking position with the UFC yet? He's tried. Lord knows he's tried. I bet you if Alex Pereira was going hard and choking someone out, people would be like, "Oh, that's the risks you take when sparring Poatan." Make excuses for it. Well, that's random, man. I wasn't talking about Pereira. Are you watching from the beginning? But yeah, a lot of people are Alex Pereira apologists, but at the same time, when they're defending him, they're usually right. Everybody's saying he was ducking, and then the Magomed Ankalaev announcement gets made, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I was stoked. I wanted this fight." So it was clear that Alex Pereira wanted it. I would be a matchmaker, but focusing on being in the octagon. Yes. Can't stay long tonight, and thanks for the comment earlier today. No problem, Andrew B. Thank you for stopping by. No hate, but the Saudi card, hell, even the Seattle card is better than 312. Yeah, it's not that great. The prelims are pretty god-awful. They need some more big fights in order to sell. And that's surprising given the tight grip that Turki Al-Sheikh has on Dana White's wrist. But anyway, going on. Quote from Paddy Pimblett. He agreed to no topping beforehand. All you butthurt idiots don't know what you're talking about. Just pipe down. Don't talk when you don't know the context. Now it's my fault, tapped like a cat emoji. When he said he was going to KO me on the feet and got outstruck. Fighter than I, Dana. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. That last part edited. Sorry. No, that I made that one up. But yeah, everything else said was quote for quote. Hey, DJ Aiden's here. DJ Aiden. Hello, Hank the Tank. How's it going, DJ? In the AM. Made in the AM. Are those One Direction songs you got on your profile picture, DJ Aiden? I need to see you anyways. If you are live tomorrow, I'll be here. All right. Well, I am going to be here tomorrow for Tank Tier List Thursday, covering the best short notice replacements in MMA. Pimblett is underrated. He has the best pure grappling at lightweight. Gamrot still bully his ass. I feel like Paddy's BJJ might come into play there. We'll see. I haven't seen... I mean, Jared Gordon was able to take him down, so maybe. Yeah, maybe. I still think it's bullshit. Gamrot, who was ranked number 5, loses one fight and moves to number 9. Yeah, because he fought a bunch of guys who were below him, and they all either dropped him or took him to close fights. And then the moment that he fought Dan Hooker, who honestly should have been out of the rankings a long time ago, beats him. Yeah, he goes down. I actually understand it. When's the last time he fought? It was like a what? UFC 305? And it's been quite a few pay-per-views since, so. Yes, I do. All right, there you go. I want to see Gamrot fight Chandler. Yeah. I mean, I judge fights based on whether they're going to be competitive or not. Honestly, any fight involving Chandler is probably non-competitive, but against Paddy, I see that as a competitive fight. So that's why I like that matchup more. Anyway, Dennis got what he deserved, and Paddy is a man of his word. Those are the two things we can take away from this story. If anything, Dennis went back on his word by tapping out like a cat emoji. Speaking of which, in other Paddy Pimblett news, he also reacted live to Renato Moicano being submitted by Islam Makhachev in the main event of UFC 311, saying that Moicano should have just slept and gone out on his shield instead of topping to the DOS of Islam after a couple seconds, lad, adding that it almost looked like he gave him submission attempts, jutting his neck out, which I would somewhat agree with, honestly. Moicano responded that Paddy Pimblett would never take fight short notice. Much less days notice, my brother. Pimblett responded that the UFC 311 main event was his one chance against Islam, and he tapped out like an absolute sauce lot, and then said he'd make him top if they fought. And the exchange only got more heated and daring until Moicano just wrote at Dana White, just book this fight already. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. Let Paddy face Chandler, and if he beats him, book Paddy versus Moicano like everyone wants you to do already. Simple as that. So, yeah. Lots of drama involving Paddy, but then again, what else is new? Puss-filled pimple. Oh, my God. Hello, everyone. Wow. Hey, dude. All right, 6 feet apart. 6 feet rule. Puss-filled pimple. Oh, God. Chandler versus Beneil. Now, that would actually be a close one as well. Another one. But at the end of the day, fight has to be made. So it has to be won. Do you just blow your nose onto your finger? No, I got a tissue. I did my radio show today, and I just gave you a shout out again. Thank you very much, DJ Aiden. What is up, everybody? How is it going? Scott Young, good to see you. Welcome once again to Split Decision Combat Sports. Always nice to have Scott Young here. Oh, that's adorable little dog you got there. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. And the long locks, that's good shit. Good combination. Moicano losing was great. God, Anakin is just a sadist. Dude, I bet he was crying after Merab beat the crap out of Umar and clearly beat him. So when Islam submitted Moicano, he was like, yes, you can't stop them, Dagestani. They're undefeated, undisputed. There's no way to beat them. They're invincible. Ha, ha, ha. Moicano literally saved the show, and you're happy about him losing. Okay. It's just crazy. Hey, you want to get a close-up of this? Here you go. Hey, breathe in, buddy. Don't lie to me. You didn't use a tissue. I did use one. Now no one will glaze him every second. You want to talk about glazing, bro? Seriously? Merab versus Umar was close. Uh-huh. And he got beat, and you never saw it coming in a million years. And Kano got subbed and quick. Yeah, on a day's notice, bro. Who are you to talk about glazing a prospect every second? Seriously, that's so stupid of you. Crazy, man. That is just crazy. Especially when he's coming back from the fucking trenches after getting knocked out a million times and still finding a way to become 10th ranked lightweight in the world. Beat Jalen Turner and and Benoit Saint-Denis, who was a fear striker on the feet. And Drew Dober. He's got a reason for people to be like, hey, Moicano's approved. I get it, man. It's just fun we cannot afford to lose, whereas with... Oh, man, I won't even get into it. But what do you guys think of the Paddy Pimblett story? What do you think about Paddy not letting go the sub on Dennis Frimpong? I think it was obviously justified because of all the shit talking he was doing, and they both agreed no taps. And so Paddy was a man of his word, and Dennis wasn't. And then do you guys think... I personally think that Paddy should fight Chandler. If he beats Chandler, then he's top 7. He's up there in the rankings, and Moicano has a reason to fight him afterwards. I think it makes a lot of sense. But he'd have to wait on the sidelines a little bit. But it's okay if he waits because guess what? Moicano was given $250,000 to fight on short notice in the main event against Islam Makhachev. So the guy has enough money that he can take his time between his fights now. So I think that makes sense. I wouldn't have Moicano just be like, oh, and now here he is. He has to fight number 13 in the world because he lost to the pound-for-pound number 1 fighter in a minute. Oh, no. I think that's unfair. I think he would have beaten Beneil Dariush. So I think that's too much Moicano hate. I think you should reward him for fighting on short notice. Moicano is like Kevin Holland. Oh, my God, this dude. How do people put up with his takes, man? Kevin Holland's a quitter. He got taken down. Fair play. Moicano got taken down and subbed by Islam Makhachev quick. But he wasn't preparing for him. Kevin Holland prepares for his fights, and then he gets taken down, and he still does absolutely nothing, even with months of preparation. Moicano's not a quitter. Kevin Holland's a freaking quitter. Dude has absolutely zero confidence in himself. Moicano has all the confidence in himself. That's a terrible... I mean, I want money catches up to him. Yeah, he still goes out and he wins, and he knocks out Jalen Turner and TKOs Benoit Saint-Denis and survives Drew Dober. Apples and oranges, which made him lose versus Islam. Yeah, he was going to lose to Islam. Shocker. Moicano made over $900K. No, he didn't. The recent payouts from the California State Athletic Commission said it was $150K. But did he say it? Kevin is much more unprofessional. Exactly, Larry CTM. But anyway, that leads me to my next big bit of MMA news for y'all. So, Now some news centered around the man of the hour, Merab Dvalishvili. Okay, yes, it's the Merab time, and Jomain is in featherweight. It is a Merab bantamweight, got you understand. Okay, he be mean to me, he use training partner against me, okay, and he not mad, he disrespect, so I choose to disrespect him, okay? Yes, Merab Dvalishvili. On video, he received a phone call day before the fight from Ilya Topuria, a fellow Georgian. He's Spanish, but hey, born in Georgia, okay? Who hyped Dvalishvili up and gave him some last-minute tips before Saturday against Umar Nurmagomedov, saying he doesn't have any experience, Umar is. Merab is different in wrestling skill compared to Umar, so he could take him down at will if he wanted to. Just have confidence, and he would eat Umar up, no Jones. And Ilya also encouraged Merab to prepare his post-fight interview. Always has a keen eye for public image, this Ilya guy. Another happy news for Merab, he reunited with his old roommate and training partner, Magdi Amachov, who I have covered on Hank's Think Tank before, as who chose to help Umar instead of Merab ahead of their fight and showed kindness and sympathy to Magdi Amachov's decision, saying he had to do what he had to do. Khabib called him for support, and Khabib's a hero to Magdi, given that he's from Dagestan originally. It was an understandable choice, according to Merab. Two chatted it up and hugged as well, with Magdi apologizing initially, which was honestly the right thing to do. Dana probably cut him a check. He said on his podcast it was somewhere around that or over that. Wow. We kind of got the money, man. Crazy that RDR weighed more than Jiří on fight night. 208 pounds for Jiří and RDR 212 pounds. And I will get to that. That is a big part of the my news cycle. I will get to that part. Yes. And they hugged. Magdi apologized to Merab. And Merab accepted his apology. So good ending to what was a pretty heartbreaking story originally. The UFC as a whole feels like it's in a good ending kind of timeline since Merab beat Umar. The birds are singing. The sun is shining. Everything feels all right. But not in LA, again, where UFC 311 took place. They're still dealing with these horrific fires. Prayers that there are no more of them and that the city can recover without corruption. Hey, Dana, where's that big donation to LA? Where's all your financial support for the firefighters and the first responders? Did you get back to them on that? Did you keep that promise? We probably won't hear it. So thank you for still holding your event there, and no, the super PACs don't count. Also, Trump recently signed a bunch of executive orders, so make sure to read up on those, folks. Just letting you know. One last, more sad piece of news regarding Rob comes from the EPO Goblin's mouth. Replying to Kevin Ioli's question on whether Umar revealing his hand injury in his post-fight promo bothered him. Merab revealed that he himself had suffered a broken back while doing training footage for the UFC, on top of all the cuts that he sustained on his leg doing stair exercises. And he laid in bed for days at certain times because everything hurt too much. And when he had to go to the UFC PI to recuperate from brutal injuries, he was kept out by security because Umar was training there. And Merab didn't say shit about his back then, which is, I think, very respectful of him and very sportsmanlike. At the same time, he was dealing with crippling injuries. Umar was calling him a coward for not wanting to fight him immediately. What a privileged little piss baby, guys. Now the rat, Ali Abdelaziz, caught cheat Usman Nurmagomedov, and Umar are all crying about a broken hand that Umar suffered in the first round, while constantly repeating, no excuses, though. Oh, no excuses. Yeah. Merab won the moral battle and the literal war here with a broken back and huge fight-ending cuts on his legs. So your whole camp can suck it. That's karma for putting this guy through mental hell while he was going through physical hell. Justice has prevailed. And that is Hank the Tank's opinion on the Umar and Merab situation. Broken back. Broke his back doing footage for the UFC. and still found a way to compete. Also, another mini news story that I didn't get to discuss, that I didn't get to write down as one of the big stories, but is very important, is that Merab, those cuts on his leg, he basically had to, not only were they so bad that you could literally see the bone, you could see the bone from the cuts on Merab's leg. They were that bad, had to be stitched together. He had to trick the doctors, or the California State Athletic Commission's medical team into accepting him for the fight. The doctor asked him to show his left leg, and he showed it. Oh no, he asked him to show his right leg. He showed it, and then he asked him to show his left leg, and he showed him the same, and the doctor fell for it. At least that's what Rob is claiming. So, dude pulled a freaking Michael Bisping before his title fight and was like, "Oh yeah, I can see out of my eye fine, buddy. Oh no, I'm great. I can see. Oh yes, two fingers, right, buddy? Yeah." So Michael Bisping pulled Michael Bisping and had to hide his injury in order to get through, get even approved for the fight, and still win with a beaten up back. So Merab is the man. Merab's the man at this point. All the odds stacked against him, all his injuries, and he still beat Umar. Yeah, he had a broken hand, but I will get to a news story very soon that'll show one of the reasons why Umar completely shat the bed during that fight as well. Moicano weighed 181.8 pounds fight night, and Islam 178 pounds. Damn. Yeah, they are supposedly lightweights, but they're natural middleweights. A lot of the guys who cut down to certain weights are quite bigger, and that includes Jamahal Hill. That includes Rainier Ritter. I think there was one other guy who had a big. It was Bogdan Guskov. So a lot of the guys, big guys, small guys, who are looking fit as a fiddle. In a couple days, they're just going to pack back on those 30, 40, 20, 30 pounds, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, what do you guys think about the news story? What do you think about Merab still being able to compete despite a blown out spine and still beating Umar Nurmagomedov? And also, what do you think about him reuniting with that Magdi character I was talking about earlier? That seemed like a very happy ending to me. And no, not at the spa. For real, Larry, I thought Moicano had $250,000. Yeah, I thought so too. That's what I was getting from the earnings. But I think Larry is saying that Dana cut Moicano a check privately outside of the fight. So that explains Moicano's figures being different. Merab is that guy, I guess. Yeah, he is. Hey, when you got really good EPO compared to the others, it tends to it tends to go a long way, especially over 5 rounds. So with a lot of failed takedown to boot. Yeah, little guy with the stuff that other people have. That's a deadly combination right there. And guys, just he ain't called the machine for nothing. So yeah, and he was able to trip Umar when he was good for the legs of Merab. So guy was just perfect for countering the style of Umar Nurmagomedov, especially in terms of cardio. So yeah, Merab is the man. I think he is that guy. There are people saying that he's already the bantamweight GOAT. He beat an undefeated Nurmagomedov as a challenger that the UFC clearly thought of as the next guy and shot to the moon, and still beat him with a blown out spine and a cut up leg. Can't stop the EPO freak. So there you go. And also he beat Sean O'Malley, beat Henry Cejudo, beat Jose Aldo, and you clearly see how even if it was by Merab, little knees to the back of the body and legs of Jose Aldo. You know, I get it. Still beat him, though. I guess you could say the same Mario Batista. God almighty. I may be wrong. I heard the podcast driving, so might have misheard. I got Moicano probably inflated the figures. Moicano deserved a bum to jump up against the champ. Deserved a bump to jump up against the champ. A bump up for fighting the champion. I don't actually. Yeah, I do. I agree with that because he beat Benoit Saint-Denis and didn't move up slot. Didn't move up once. So he deserves a jump up the rankings. And in terms of his placement on the rankings list, he already deserves an increase. Moicano got paid $1 million from Dana for fighting for 4 minutes and tapping nice. Did he fight for 4 minutes? I thought it was sooner that he tapped. But everybody's hating on Moicano for saving the day and saving the main event. Sure, he tapped to the front Darce choke of Merab, but he was keeping it competitive on the feet as long as it lasted. And dude, if you haven't trained for a fighter, think about Volk. Are you going to make fun of Volk for getting head kicked by Islam when he had 3 or 4 days notice? No. So everybody's just hating on him, man. Hi, Hank. Hello, Drunken Boxing. Good to see you. Always good to see Drunken Boxing. Do you fight too? Oh, Hair U is here. Hello, Hair U. Hair University. Do I fight too? No, I do not. I do not fight too. I have been in plenty of sports and some rough and tumble sports. I've been in I was a defensive basketball player for a few years. I played baseball, played all kinds of sports. My dad made me compete in a lot of PE classes, so I am an athlete, just not the athlete that you think of. But one of these days, when this channel gets big enough and I need to take some self-defense classes, I might end up fighting a little bit. Probably not I think I got a good enough brain that I shouldn't spend it on cage fighting, though. Thought he should have made more for stepping up, so I hope you're right. I hope so, too. I hope Moicano get money, my brother. It's probably true. Dana cuts checks privately all the time. That is true. Yeah. Not like he doesn't have the money. But I do think it is also true that Moicano got $250K up front at the event. But I don't think that means Dana gave him $1 million. That doesn't mean that Dana didn't give him $1 million afterwards. It's just on top of what he already made. I'm thinking that if Benny got the win and show money, then Moicano definitely got a cut or check. Yeah. Love Moicano. He has no fear, and that's absolutely true. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taken it. Hank is not a fighter. That is true, but I'm not that much of a lover either. I'm a hater. I am very much a hater, but I have a little love in my heart. But I can't say that I'm a lover, not a fighter. Well, Moicano was already in camp, set for a fight on that card. Volk was not in camp and went up a class, so not the same. Yeah, but you also got to consider that there's a day's notice. He had a little bit of time to prep for a guy he already fought against, whereas Moicano was not expecting Islam Makhachev whatsoever. Wasn't even like, oh, he's a short notice guy in case something happens. Like, he was expecting a completely different style, and he only had a day for that. How are you going to hate on Moicano? Unless you're a busker who made a video for Moicano and never got paid. Whip, 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 whip. Yikes. Is that true? Moicano was preparing for Benil, who was southpaw as well. That is true. Now, well, that's coming from Anakin May, so obviously he's going to take Islam's side. Anyone else find it strange fighters get an injury right before fighting Islam? Charles Oliveira, there was actually video of cut over his eyebrow, so that he wasn't faking it there. But with Arman, I do have my own little theory as to why Arman pulled out. So there is that. Arman, Charles, Benil, RDA. Wow. That's a lot of guys. That's very interesting. Paddy's roasting Moicano was funny. Oh, yeah, like you shouldn't have topped. Should have went out on your shield. What's wrong with you? One chance to fight for a title, you muppet. Oh, you little wham. Be a man first. After listening to Arman on the Jackson podcast, I can understand why he got injured now. He went through a 5-month camp because the UFC told him the fight was going to be earlier, and they kept postponing it. Oh, so he wore it out over time. It's still strange that it was right before fight week, though. Overtrained, definitely. You'd think that he'd sustain sort of injury within those 5 months as well. I left. Did you say you do fight? No, I don't. I don't fight. But I have been in quite a few different sports, including basketball, which was tough. There was once a time where we were doing practice. This guy with braces on his face fell right on me, and his braces sliced right through my arm. So I had to have that bandaged for a while. And then also when you're on a sort of middle school, high school basketball team, sometimes you got teams that are like an entire foot taller than you. And we were dealing with guys who were like 16, 17 years old, and we were 14, 15. And so those big kids kicked our asses. So Arman should get the next title fight, but I know he will most likely fight Charles or Chandler next. Yeah, now I'm going to get to that point as well, that it's strange that Dana White has postponed his return to like next year, he said. His post-fight press conference, that was very strange to me. Definitely strange the timing of the pullout. But these do happen, I guess. I get it. Arman versus Charles, 5 rounds is the fight to make. Yeah, they need a rematch. That was a close fight. Also hurt his back injuring with training with Nina. That got disproven. I don't give a F about Holloway versus Charles. I do. That's a great fight. I think that's a money fight. Honestly, I think that's just a fun and winnable fight for both. Arman definitely tweaked his back while playing around with Nina. Nope. That is not what happened. Because they said it was on Wednesday. They said it was like a few days before, and Nina trained with him on like Sunday. Arman has to go back to the drawing board. The kid messed up. Yes, one way or the other. I think they wanted Arman to not pull out, but since he did, they don't like the idea of him getting a title shot again. Yeah, Dana is always angry at the guys who pull out short notice. He has his little grudges against them. No, I still believe it. All right, well, hear this. I'm about to give my counter explanation for it. So listen up. Let me actually get to it. There have been recent speculations regarding the real reason as to why Arman Tsarukyan pulled out of his fight against Islam Makhachev. The official one is that Arman blew out his back a few days before UFC 311, and he would feel bouts of paralyzing pain on his lower spine a few days before the weigh-ins, eventually being forced to pull out when the pain remained consistent Friday morning. However, some are noticing that the accounts of Arman and his coach in terms of the date and condition Arman was in when it was first realized he was injured are not lining up, with Marco D'Amata saying he suffered it during his last sparring session, while Tsarukyan claims that he started to notice his injury while riding on a stationary bicycle, which seemed like a strange piece of equipment to injure oneself on, especially someone of Arman's athleticism and flexibility. But that cannot be entirely confirmed or ruled out. Some think that Arman's injury had happened during his wrestling warm-up for Nina Drama's first interview with him before UFC 311. But that's a standard exercise for wrestlers with very little risk. Otherwise, you'd be hearing more about wrestlers injuring themselves while starting their warm-ups. And with someone of Arman's mobility, that kind of basic exercise he's done a million times, paralyzing him seems pretty unlikely. And besides, the date of their training session doesn't match with Arman or his coach's timelines for the injury. It was earlier by multiple days. Hank, you are forgetting about their private session. Oh, yes, I see. Yeah, rolling around in the bed with the cameraman boyfriend. You look like you know how to fight like in killer movies. I definitely watched Halloween and enough Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies enough how to destroy a serial killer. Arman's lying. Dun, dun, dun. I heard Arman back crack in the video. Okay, well, again, it was a basic exercise that wrestlers do all the time. So, I don't know. I guess I'll have to watch it. But, yeah. Didn't stop people on Twitter from going after her and blaming her for his pullout. No, did he? Including a lot of angry Armenian fans, including Anakin MMA. And this might be one of the few times I have a bit of empathy for Nina and wish that she wasn't the target of MMA criticism. Now it's going a little too far, so leave her alone on this one. She's done plenty of other stuff where she has deliberately been a piece of shit, but I think this time it was, at the very least, it was accidental. And she does training sessions with all the fighters, so this was gonna happen. If Arman's choosing to do that shit for Nina, that's on Arman. That's not on her. So if Arman didn't get injured on the stationary bicycle, what really caused the injury? Or was there even an injury at all? Well, the two big rumors, and thanks to IT MMA for these ones, are that either A, he missed weight by a ton long before fight week, and that's why there are videos of him gorging himself on chicken, cheese, and pasta less than a month before the pay-per-view, or B, he popped for PEDs, and his positive test was swept under the rug by the UFC through a false narrative about his pullout, and everyone around him was told to follow it. The evidence for this theory would be that Dana White's terse response to the idea of Arman fighting for the lightweight belt for real upon his return, saying his return wouldn't be until next year, by that meaning 2026. What? Either Dana White got his words confused, or he's saying that Arman isn't coming back until next year for a back injury he says he's already recovering from. That seems kind of odd to me as well. Khabib team ignored Nina. Ignored her. Nina, I get ignoring her. Nina's guilty, and Arman made the mistake of doing it. Yeah, exactly. Is Nina Arman vid worth watching on it? I'd assume not, but I guess if you hear the back snap, I guess it's worth it. I'm continually getting bullied for this, but oh my god, I hate BJJ. So UFC is not something I have a positive outlook. But I know you're not a fan, as most people with these channels. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because it's dated. It's outdated the sport at this point. Like there's BJJ specialists that are just getting their butts kicked on the ground, trying to do a slick reverse grappling move, and once in a blue moon they get it. But it's not going to make a champion unless your name's Charles Oliveira, brother. Have enough striking acumen to make the BJJ work in moments. Like people who only practice BJJ are going to get put out, and that's just the truth. So, if you're getting bullied, BJJ is a good sport. But if you're not, then don't be an MMA fighter. It's all about Dagestani wrestling. Yeah, unless you're dealing with Merab, in which case, that was unconvincing. Probably going to skip it. Yeah. I watched Nina drama interviews and I threw up bad, as is the natural response. Kurt Angle impression. Oh, God. My name's Kurt Angle, and what the heck? I won a gold medal with the broken freaking neck. You don't scare me. No, no, no. And then, oh God, what was that? What was that last part that Angle said? Classic. Oh God, what was it? Oh, yeah, I may suck, but you just blow. Word to your mother. And then he also did Jimmy crack corn, I don't care. Jimmy crack corn, and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn, and I don't care. I got Olympic gold. I got Olympic gold. Got Olympic gold. Jimmy crack corn, and I don't care. Jimmy crack guys. Good old Kurt Angle. Woo! Milkomania's running wild. The Northern Caucasus is dominating the MMA scene. At least it was. It was before the Georgian nation attacked. And let me tell you, Ilya Topuria is interested in moving up. Move on up. So look out. Look out, Islam Makhachev. There's a new featherweight champion in town. All right. Continuing on with the news story. Either Dana White got his words confused, or he's saying that Arman isn't coming back until next year for a back injury he's already recovering from. It seems odd. He could be angry, like people in the chat are saying, at Arman for popping, ruining the show, or they're just mad at him for pulling out in general. You be the judge. Uncle Fest is pretty good at lying through his teeth. Given the new drug testing program for the UFC allows the company to pull fighters out without giving MMA fans a proper medical explanation or the knowledge of them popping, it is within the realm of possibility that Arman's positive test was covered up and exposed as something else, especially since doctors apparently did MRIs on Arman's back and found nothing. They did MRIs on Arman's back. They didn't find anything specific. And with Arman's physique right now, I wouldn't be surprised. But you be the judge of this one, Splitty City Slickers. I'm sure we'll find out whether the official reason is true or false in due time, or maybe, who knows? Who cares? Everybody's on steroids. All you motherfuckers on steroids. Ilya is scared of Mavzar. Yeah, and any fighter who's not Dagestani is afraid of the Dagestani. It's like Alex was afraid of Magomed, right? But now it's booked. Uh-oh. And Merab was scared of Umar, right? Even though he was literally broke his back. Ilya believes his brother is better than him. It's probably not true. I've seen Alexandre Toporia's fights and can't say that. I really don't think so. I don't think he has the God-given power that Ilya Topuria has. Not a chance Ilya actually believes that. Yeah, he's saying that for his own brother's good. Not going to lie, I'm hyped for Alexandre versus Haddon. I am too. I love Cody Haddon. Alexandre's solid. Obviously not Ilya Topuria level of talent, but their fight should be legendary. So it's going to be a good one. Ilya has unparalleled respect for his brother, and he also believes he himself is the best. Yeah. Yeah, they are a very prideful family. What cartoon is that? What show is that? Because it sort of looks familiar, but it doesn't look familiar. What is that anime or cartoon, Ryan Welsh? I want to see Alexandre win versus Cody Haddon. Yeah, of course you do. I'm rooting for the All-American boy. Then he's a good brother. He is a good brother. Oh, yeah. Cowboy Bebop. Wow. Which character is that? I haven't seen him before. Yeah, he's got the slick style, like triangular head style of the Cowboy Bebop. Is that the modern cowboy or is that late 1990s cowboy? Ilya would smoke Mavzar. Funny West. Yeah, any chance. I probably said it was funny if Merab beat Umar too. So nothing's funny until it's proven. Who does Merab fight next? Shoot. I am personally behind him facing Alexandre Pantoja. Obviously Merab's lost, but somebody's unbeaten streak for a while has got to go. I say somebody's win streak has to go. Somebody has to lose. So I say have Pantoja versus Merab so that Pantoja can lose, and then hopefully someone beats him for the flyweight title afterward. That's usually what happens. So yeah, him versus Cap after Pantoja versus Merab, and Cap just smokes Pantoja afterwards. So that's usually the logic. Oh yeah, Anakin. You're acting like Merab KO'd him. It was close. Yeah, and then Umar gassed in the second round and never recovered. Late 90s, Spike Spiegel, such a banger anime. Yeah. His hair looks like. Yeah, I think it's such an angle that he almost doesn't look like out. Wait, no, wait. Oh, there's the hair. Yes. I was looking at it at like the hair was like sort of like mine, where it was black, but there's the blue outline on top of it. Yes. There you go. Yeah, that is Cowboy. And he's looking through a door hole. Are you one of those people who thinks won? No, I am not. I do not think he won. I think Merab won. Late 90s Spike Spiegel. Yes, sir. Is Paddy facing Moicano next? No, because Paddy, people forget, man. Paddy had that moment on video where he said, "Hey, I know I'm the championship quality, and so I'm shooting for the stars. See you at the top." So he meant Mike Chandler. I think that's the next fight that's going to happen, unless the UFC decides to change plans. But I feel like they've got Paddy versus Chandler already booked. How many 5-rounders has Merab had compared to compared to Umar? So there was Peter Yan, O'Malley. He only had one more than him. Because Umar faced Corey Sandhagen, and he's only had one more 5-rounder. Come on, man, you're a smart guy, Anakin. You're a smart guy. It's not yeah, and again, that's stain. If anything, that is a condemnation of your own guy that he was given Corey Sandhagen and jumped the line. So criticize the UFC for giving him number 2 after he wasn't even ranked. Ryan Welsh, I like that matchup. Kind of looks funky, that's because it's through a fisheye lens, right? Yes, sir. Paddy will dust Chandler. I think he'll be Chandler. I don't know if he's going to dust him. Man, Anakin's very confident in all his picks. Umar had the first 2 in the bag, and for some reason, dude tried going for takedowns. Umar had the first 2 in the bag, and I honestly think that Merab won round 2. And for some reason, dude tried going for takedowns on Merab while having the striking advantage and gassed himself out. Well, he broke his hand. And he said, he broke my hand, inshallah, I broke my hand after the fight, okay? And said his excuse live in living color for everybody to hear, whereas Merab kept his back injury secret the entire time. Chad. Yes, so Umar had only one fight, 5-rounder. Yeah. And that was the same for Merab for a little while. So, honestly, difference in UFC experience, that's not enough experience. Yeah, but whose fault is that? You wouldn't admit it. Thanks, Western. Climbed a few times with friends and stuff. It's hard. Western Mass Climber. I like that matchup. Is Paddy face Moicano? Yeah. Climbed a few times. Interesting. Oh, climbed a few times with friends stuff. Okay, yeah. I've climbed too. That's not experience. Do you like watching violence? Does it make your heart beat with happiness, or do you like Judge Circle? What is it? Tradition? I wonder. I like wrestling before I like mixed martial arts because I love the drama of it. I love the idea of becoming champion of the world. Dramatic storylines and blood feuds that resulted in payoff matches. I love the theater like aspect of it and the drama of it. And I found that UFC was a lot like that with Conor McGregor and Leon Edwards getting the head kick at the end to shock the world. It felt larger than life. Mac Holloway knocking out Justin Gaethje with 1 second left. Insane moment. Like, it's not the violence that makes my heart beat. It's the shock factor of it. And it's like stakes of it and all the bad blood and the personal feuds going into it that make watching MMA worth it. Is you invest in the fighters. You want to see them their journey to the top and wait for the moment that they crash and fall down. That's what it's all about, just like wrestling. Rob, so tough, man. Yeah, and on EPO too. Bro dove headfirst into a frozen lake and walked it off. I wonder why. Street climber Ryan Welsh. Nice. What is Giuliano doing today, Hake the Tank? I don't know. Giuliano's honestly a hard guy to predict. Sometimes he goes live at like midnight. Sometimes he goes live in the morning. It all depends on what he's got going on in his life. So honestly, got no idea what Giuliano's doing on any given day. I think he doesn't know what he's doing on any given day. He just goes live when he wants to, man, and that's what makes Giuliano a cool cat, in my opinion. Tree climber. Didn't really know there was such a thing. Was thinking outdoors rock climbing. No, he climbs trees and he cuts tree limbs for a living. So that's why he's the mass climber. DJ, why don't you text? God, DJ Aiden has DMs with Giuliano. God help us all. Oh, why? What did you think? Why do you think I liked it? Are you a fan of Yanal Ashmuz and Nathan Levy? Yes, something deep within my soul, within my heritage and my past. It yearns towards Yanal Ashmuz and Nathan Levy. I just don't know why, man. It's just the back of my brain, man. I'm big supporter of those two. Red Fox, oh man, he's got power in his fist. Nathan Levy, man, that kid's technical. He's gonna be a star. That's the reason why, guys. Ryan Welsh, I do residential tree climbing. Yes, he does. Oh, I see. Bless up, man. Late sick, man. All right. Well, that was squared away. Is this Xbox? What the hell is Microsoft doing? I'm on YouTube, by the way, for your information. Is this Xbox? Is Microsoft doing? I'm on YouTube. Am I coming through? Is my audio coming through? Is something? Oh, Beretta. I don't have his phone number, Western Mass Climber, and thank God for that. Thank God for that. That's a good thing for all of us. But let's get into Hank the Tank's next big piece of MMA news. Whatever it is, hey, I'm happy. Screw Arman Tsarukyan. I've never liked the guy. But by the way, talking about Umar's broken hand, speaking of that, he apparently didn't tell his coaches, Javier Mendez or Khabib Nurmagomedov, that he had sustained the injury in any round of the fight, meaning they still thought he could strike just fine and kept going with their striking wrestling hybrid game plan of picking Merab apart in the pocket, despite Umar being completely compromised on the feet, rather than tell him to throw more kicks at range and keep his distance. Of course, Javier Mendez couldn't help but glaze Khabib while admitting Umar and his team's failures, saying that he was one of the greatest cornermen he had ever encountered. Yeah, when you spend all your time training with Dagestanis, Khabib would definitely be one of the best corner by default. I wonder how Khabib irately screaming and cursing at his fighters helps them out. That's a puzzle box that Javier might have to give the key to one of these days. Javier also said that Umar was a warrior for not telling them about the injury and keeping his head down throughout the fight. But doesn't that also make him kind of a dumbass rookie who didn't have enough experience to deal with that kind of high-stakes 5-round fight yet? Because I'd tell my team that my hand was broken right away if it meant preserving my chances at winning a title. But maybe he felt his aura as a privileged Dagestani fighter was too great for him to complain about an injury that couldn't possibly be there since he's so perfect, inshallah. I don't know, you tell me. Audio's fine. DJ, I have Giuliano's number. Do you think he'd mind if I shared it with you? Yes, he absolutely would. He absolutely would. Don't do it, Western Mass Climber. Do not do it. For the love of God. No. Don't do it. Do not do it, Western Mass Climber. I beg of you, don't do it. You need to ask Giuliano directly, and you know what his response is going to be. He's on Instagram, DJ. You're mean. Oh, brother. I'm not mean. I'm just being realistic. Who's mean? You're happy because one Khabib guy lost a close fight. I'm happy because that guy was privileged as hell and did not deserve a title shot at all. It's like giving Pate Talbot a title shot. And we saw how that went against Raoni Barcelos. You don't just give a prospect 4 fights. Okay, now you can fight for a title now. Guys who have had to have like 6 or 7 ranked fights before they fight for a title. He only took 1 and was given a title shot. And you know why he was given that title shot, just like why Islam Makhachev was given that title shot. And you never criticize that decision whatsoever. And I've been asking you, hey, whose fault is that he lost to Merab? And you haven't told me. And I think it's because you don't want to admit that the dude was privileged, had Dana White privilege, and was given a fight against Corey Sandhagen immediately, which he never deserved in a million years. So, yeah, spoiled little punk, corruption. And I'm glad it got exposed. I'm glad Dana's pissed, and you're pissed too. That's ridiculous to give him a title shot. And anyone with a brain on his shoulders or isn't glazing those motherfuckers would know that. So, yes, Western Mass Climber, do it. Don't do it. Not surprised this would happen. I'm not surprised this would happen. I was surprised, actually. I picked Umar to win. So I feel like I am listening. Okay. Maybe the edibles and the drugs are taking hold of your brain, though, so it's hard. Yes, he is mad. He is mad. He is mad. He is mad deep down inside because he's like the JL. He's like the JL of Dagestani fighters, where he's gonna stick up for him. He's they're his favorites, so he's got to get on the bandwagon. It's being a number 1 Drake fan. It's like being a big fan of Drake, you know. And he's winning. He's number 1. He's big, and so therefore he can do no wrong. And people just like to be associated with number 1, so they just hop on. Rank your most hated fighters. Christian Rodriguez would definitely be 1. John Jones is obviously number 1. God, who else do I really despise? It's a hard one. I don't have too much hate in my heart, to be honest. Shit. It used to be Merab. I used to really hate Merab. I used to hate Ilya too, but both those guys have sort of redeemed themselves a little bit in my eyes. So I don't hate those guys much. They're off the list. Juliana Pena I still despise with a passion. I don't like Juliana Pena. I think she's completely delusional. She's ridiculous for pushing this fight with Kayla Harrison so far past where it was when they were supposed to fight. I don't like her. Let me think. Who else? Who are some guys that are just completely irritating? They're idiots. It's hard to tell, honestly. I'm thinking about... Ian Gary. Ian Gary, of course. And I know he proved himself in the Shavkat fight, but that dude's still a fucking piece of shit in my estimation. Also, I don't like Colby all that much. So screw Colby. I'm glad he lost. Not in a million years. Lol, don't hate on me. I'm not hating on you. I'm on cold meds. I see. But I stopped them tonight because 500 MGA MPM will kill me. Oh, but I stopped them tonight. Well, see, I was sort of on point. I mean, people are like, "Oh, Hank's being mean," but usually I'm right. Like, what? How am I supposed to respond to a comment saying, "I feel like I'm listening right now"? What conclusions am I supposed to take from that? There's something that's blocking your listening, right? But I hope you overdose, dude. Yeah, please stop them. I think the Dagestani glaze is real, but you're playing it up a bit. Umar had a solid resume and ended up being the next one up. Yeah, but that solid resume was beating Raoni Barcelos, who wasn't even ranked. What are we talking about here? Did you say Anthony Smith yet? I don't hate Anthony Smith too much. He's gone, so like it doesn't really count. Or Con Gracie. I don't know. I blame the UFC more than those fighters. I just can't stand fighters that are just completely obnoxious and have no reason to do what they do, but do it. Conor McGregor, I'm starting to hate. I'm really starting to hate Conor McGregor. So yeah, I'm done with him, and he's on the list. And there's a reason for that too. Playing it up. I'm not playing it up. I'm not playing up that he jumped from unranked to 2. Just like Kunyev here with Blades. And it's clear with these Russian fighters, they're just giving them a jump up. Just like Con Gracie, just like you're saying. So how am I over hating here? I'm just speaking facts. There are too many fighters jumping the line. Lane, can you please DM Giuliano? Tell him I said I need a surprise from him. Please. Jesus Christ, DJ. You're so desperate, man. You asked about your audio, so I said, "Oh, I'm listening." Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Sorry, Harry. Sorry for the misunderstanding. Kevin Holland now. Pena fights once every 2-3 years. Yeah, Kevin Holland, I'm not that big a fan. I like Ian. He's a solid guy. Oh my God, man. This new generation of fans is like, oh man. The people forget, man. Like this is a time to say people forget, man. Also, you're right, and I want to F you. If you say one more creepy comment, I'm gonna have you gone. So I don't want to hear that. If you say that one more time or anything similar, I'm gonna have to time you out. So chill. Solid guy. Dude put a mugshot of Off Neal on his t-shirt because he was like making fun of him going to jail so that he could gaslight him and hype up the fight. And he said that Neil Magny was abusing his children because he said, "Oh, I have to spank my kid a time or two, and I'll do the same to that young buddy Ian Gary." And he pretty much almost ruined Neil's life. So unforgivable is my opinion of that. The dude will do anything to hype up a fight, including put other people's lives at risk. So Ian Gary's still a piece of shit too. And I'll say that proudly. And Corey. Yeah, Haryu's interesting. JDM was offered to fight Protez on 312, and he refused, right? I would. If you're like a number 4 contender, why the hell would you fight Procházka? It's ridiculous. Yeah, the names, nepotism is real. That will be the case in any sport. The eyes of the media on now. Yeah, but does that mean that I shouldn't criticize him for being a nepo baby still? I should absolutely criticize nepotism because it's sin. So, of course, I'm going to go after nepotism. It doesn't matter which sport it's in. Jump up the line to jump up the line. It's not fair. Remember the musical challenge, DJ? Only one more week. Oh, yeah. Whatever DJ's got planned. Okay, bye. Yeah, strange man. Hair, you trolling. Absolutely. You got this. DJ 18. Good old DJ. Always got something. It's always something, Diane. But anyway, what do you think of Umar Nurmagomedov basically not telling his coaches about his broken hand? Was that not a wise move? I don't think it was. A lot of again, Ali Abdelaziz, Usman Nurmagomedov, all these guys making excuses for Umar losing. I would have been okay with the excuse if Umar even told his team about his broken hand. Don't whine about it afterwards. Whine about the broken hand when it's round 2 and you know that you broke your hand. Don't pretend, oh, yeah, I'm Mr. Macho, I'm Mr. Tough Guy. I can get through this shit. And then immediately after, oh, I broke my hand, guys. Like, come on. Haha, I feel bad for those with names that have ties. Having something to live up to must be a certain pressure that not many can relate. That is a good point from Ryan Welsh. I think a Lee brother, Adrian Lee, I think. He's in one, and he has to fulfill his family's legacy when his sister was a prospect and she had a horrible, she lost her life. And now Adrian still has to live up to the family name. But he's not being given big jumps up the rankings. He's being pushed at the moderate amount that he should get pushed. I will say that Ryzen has prospects that they just push all the way up the rankings, and not exactly a fan of those either. But I will admit that Sakuraba knockout was pretty freaking incredible. So I guess I do have a guilty pleasure for the jumps up sometimes, but honestly, like I usually am not a fan. I think it should be avoided at all costs. Umar's hand looked mango's fuck. Do you mean mangled as fuck or mango's fuck or what are we talking about here? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Mangled. Yeah, definitely mangled. But he didn't tell his coaches about it. What are you expecting? Lane, I don't know why I have to do this challenge for musical MMA. It's because you think that you want to talk about nepotism. You want to think about being privileged and spoiled rotten, dude. You've had whole videos and streams dedicated to you when you hardly produce MMA content of your own. So, yeah, I think you deserve to have this challenge put upon you. It's like a bet, DJ. You bet on yourself, right? You got this. Yeah, so have confidence in yourself, DJ Aiden. I like that he kept it to himself, honestly. Not because it was macho, but because it was what he had to do. I guess that's just being macho, but I think there's more to it. No, I think it's just stupid. If he'd have just told Khabib or Javier Mendez, they would have told him, hey, dude, you got to kick more. Hey, you got to take him down more. Hey, you don't engage in the pocket with him. Instead, he didn't tell them, and they kept giving him the same game plan. He went with the game plan despite having a broken hand. And so that's no. You want to win gold, right? Hey, everybody's so mad at Moicano for giving up his shot. Umar just abandoned his shot by not telling his coaches that he broke his hand. So it's just a dumb move overall. I'm sorry. I know you can tough through it, but this is MMA. You got to win the fight. Rob knows how to win a fight. Doesn't seem like Umar knows how to win a fight if he's not changing up his game plan on the fly. So it was a mistake. Or I could see why he would. Yeah. But if you're going to do it, don't cry about it afterwards. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't cry about it. Don't say, oh, I broke my hand, brother. I broke my hand. Too little, too late, little man. Lane's right. I got this. I can do this. That is true, DJ. Yes. What's Musical's challenge even? What does he have to do? What is the challenge for Musical? Does he have to sing something? Yeah, you're right. There's also the chance his coaches call the fight if they hear him complain. That's a good counterpoint. I don't think he was complaining. No, he was not complaining about it. I think the fact that he has such a reputation and his Dagestani, I think he felt he just had all that confidence. So I think that kept him pushing forward. I won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. You don't scare me. No, no, no. I may suck, but you just blow. He did win a gold medal with a broken frick neck, and Merab will defend his title with a broken frickin' back. How about that? And Umar lost his title fight with broken frickin' hand. So a lot of people breaking frickin' stuff. Let's go, DJ 18. All right, continuing on with MMA news from Hankus Tankus. Here we go. In other happy news, Jiří Procházka and Jamahal were seen at a bar soon after their fight at UFC 311, sharing a drink together and clinking their glasses to their epic battle, reminding me of that Jose Cuervo tequila commercial where Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Kevin Holland were thinking of getting tequila and limes for Holland's UFC after party mid-fight, and then toasted afterwards and put the glasses on their injuries. Remember that commercial, like tequila commercial? Wonder Boy's going for a takedown. He's like, "Hey, you gonna have limes and tequila at my after party?" Yep, I brought the limes. Oh, that's very kind of you, Steven. And they and they put the tequila on their wounds. That reminds me of what Hill and Jiří were doing, because they were both pretty messed up, and then they were just like clinking their glasses together and toasting their epic fight. We always knew that Jamahal was just hyping up his fights with all his Twitter braggadocio, and didn't mean any disrespect toward his opponents. And that's just been reinforced by this video, showing that both Hill and Jiří are good guys at heart and have great sportsmanship at the end of the day. Hell, even Colby, Nate, Ilya, and Connor have shown sportsmanship at one point or another. The dog bender never counts, though. Screw the dog bender. Whenever he's trying to be nice, he's usually trying to get something out of it. Remember when Jamahal fought broken ulna? Is that an ulna D's nuts or something? What is that? What is an ulna nerve? Ulna bone is a long bone in the forearm that break from the elbow to the wrist. Okay, and Jamahal lots of focus on Jamahal schmooze. Work construction. Broke his wrist in the first round of his fight. Oh yeah, with Trevor Peak. That's right. And maybe that's why I shot so many takedowns. Hey, and when you break something, guess what you do? You start shooting takedowns instead of striking. And that's what Jamahal did. And Umar should have done that. W impression. What do you think the next step for Peyton is? I don't know. Back to the drawing board, I guess. I mean, Peyton, I think he released a statement after his loss. I forget what he said, what his excuse was for why he lost. But if I'm Peyton Talbot, I am pushing for a bounce back fight against a striker and not a grappler. And then afterwards, I would ask them to give me a grappler so that I could get back to that point, Jamahal was scared of Aliyev. Oh my God, man. Let me look at Aliyev canceled. It's always about a freaking drew from the fight, lightweight veteran. Bouts changed. Withdrew. I mean, I guess there's no way to deny. I can't affirm or deny that he pulled out, but at the same time, like I said before, drug testing agencies are able to pull fighters out of fights for undisclosed reasons. So that could be that he's scared, or it could be that they popped him for something. And so there's something else they wanted to do, and so they pulled him out before that could be announced. So I think there's other possibilities there. But of course, yeah, everyone's scared of Ali Braza. Lane, tell Hank the Tank about my challenge for musical MMA. Yes, please do. Pull out so Selecki can lose. Yeah, poor Selecki. Colby, yeah. I can't respect that, man. Yeah, he betrayed Jorge Masvidal in his whole gym. Just immediately worked for a competition or a better coach and just like, see ya, after Jorge took him in. That's why I was mad at Magdi Amachov after Merab took him in. Trevor Peak is not Merab. You're right, he's not Merab. There you go. Peyton versus Raul. I'd love that. I wouldn't, because I think Peyton would honestly just knee Raul to death, and I think Peyton would destroy Raul Rosas Jr. Also, you kill one prospect. I don't think that's good booking, unfortunately. Another rising prospect. Yeah, but then one of them is guaranteed to lose, and that doesn't help. WDJ. So keep it up until January 31st. Lane, what is the challenge? What is the musical challenge? He told you to tell me what the challenge was. Keep it up until January 31st. Keep what up? Ain't favorable for Peyton at all. He gonna get wrestle effed by Chihuahua, to be honest. Yeah, but then people forget, man, dude. Ryan, you forgot. You forgot that he faced Cameron Simon, who's also a wrestler, and he just destroyed him. Just kneed him up the middle, over and over again. Like Raul Rosas, Ari Shileng almost beat Raul Rosas Jr. So I don't know, man. How good is Ricky Simone really? Ricky Simone faced Vinicius Oliveira, and that's a random name. Where did that get drawn from? Who did? Oh, how good it because he knocked down Merab and almost subbed him and all that stuff. Yeah, every dog has its day. Broken clock is right twice a day. DJ will refrain from talking about Liam Payne or asking No Chill to make a video until January 31st, 2025. That's fair. That is fair. And he's helping DJ now to strengthen his mind and his patience. WJ, he will. We see that differently. I could see Peyton catching him, to be honest. I think he does. I mean, don't you think he's going to sort of improve after this? Don't you think he's going to go back to the drawing board a little bit? I don't know. I still have a little faith in him. That Simone fight was nasty. Yeah, it was an excellent back and forth contest, but Merab's on EPO didn't tap to that. Choke. You got this. Give Peyton Talbot to Ricky Tercios or John Castaneda. Yeah, I mean that's the bounce back you'd want. That's a winnable matchup for Peyton, and then you can talk about a matchup that's tough for him. You gotta give these young guys time to recover, in my opinion, at least. Anyway, my next piece of MMA news for y'all. Here we go. Yeah, what do you think of Jamahal Hill and Jiří Procházka sharing a drink together? Are you happy that the two men sort of reconciled a little bit and squashed their beef and all that stuff? They didn't really have beef in the first place, to be honest. But I really do feel like Hill has ham and a drama queen in order to promote his fights over everything else. I feel like he doesn't mean it most of the time. He told Guru something similar. I'll give people time to respond, and I'll get to my next news story in the meantime. Oh, here we go. So, Conor McGregor, the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake, the Nelk boys, and sadly Theo Von. All hope for this kind soul is lost for Theo Von. We're all captured on film, chatting it up on a bus headed to the Capitol for recent U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. The audio from the video is almost inaudible, as they were yelling and laughing like a bunch of school children who did something bad while the teacher was outside the classroom. Jake Paul took a selfie with the big gag of chuckle fucks, acting all machismo, and Nate Diaz quickly replied to it, calling Conor, Jake, and Logan 3 fucking dorks. And for once, I couldn't agree more, Nate. Usually, Diaz is a know-nothing troll, but this time he really hit the nail on the head. This busload of rich men were at the Capitol because they knew what the president-elect would do for them. Keep them rich with tax breaks and greater room to impose financial and political authority, and keep the rest of us poor, systemically trapped, and miserable. Combat Sports is Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Elon. That's Connor, Jake, and Logan. There's Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Elon. Hank the Tank would definitely recommend that people pay very close attention to the photos and videos of the inauguration to see who was there and to keep their presence on the day in mind the next time they claim something about how our society or economy is run and what its problems are, because they are likely full of shit, you guys. And that includes the handsy drunk and his two new Nepo baby scammer buddies. They're lackeys in the Nelk Boys, and even silly little seduced Theo Vaughn. On top of these rich douchebag lobbyists groveling to our new, or should I say old, elitist U.S. president, MMA fans with half a brain cell were quick to point out that Conor was hanging out with Logan Paul after all the current legal hell that he's been putting his alleged friend Dylan Dennis through, saying he just threw their past experiences and friendship under the bus, which would make sense since he was in a bus at the time, which means that he could have thrown Dennis out one of the windows to get crushed under the tires. Dennis, having survived the experience, retweeted these posts, indicating his own feelings of betrayal at this vomit-inducing team-up. Man, with friends like these, who needs enemies, huh, Connor? Dylan Dennis, the Paul brothers, the Nelk Boys, Theo Vaughn, Rogues Gallery. Just killers, murderers row. Also, the story puts the final nail in the coffin of McGregor boxing one of the Paul brothers. Useless junkie. See you in winter, has been. That's my opinion on that. What do you guys think? What do you think about Conor McGregor hanging out with the Paul brothers and Theo and all those lunatics and the Nelk Boys? Do you agree with Hank the Tank's take on this story? Probably don't, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on this interesting little bit of news. Hello? It's strange. I haven't received a comment in 5 minutes. Wait a minute. Oh, we're good. Sorry. How are you? Never mind. We're good. I don't know, man. No problem, Harry. As long as you don't say anything similar. I don't know, man. Power attracts power. If your take is general dismay for the meeting of this meeting of people, I just think that Connor and the Nelk Boys and the Paul brothers are all sort of rich degenerates, imbeciles who are just. Logan Paul is suing Dylan Dennis. Logan Paul scammed little kids for crypto reasons. Conor McGregor has done all sorts of shit outside of fighting. What's the word for it? Something attracts company, or maybe what's the word for it? Loneliness needs company, or there's some word. Company. There's some quote for it. But what I'm trying to say is that assholes attract assholes. And they're all going to the inauguration day of an asshole. And they're all just filthy rich. So you got to assume that the reason they're there is so that they can have more money and power. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. But if people know the saying that I'm trying to get out here, I was getting brownies. Nice. Well, that's having your priorities in order. I couldn't give a shit about that dumbass news. Yeah. Well, it's definitely about dumbasses. I'm just saying it because it related to Conor McGregor hanging out with Logan Paul despite him suing his alleged friend Dylan Dennis. But on top of it, it's just, I have to mention it when they get themselves involved in politics. I have to talk about it. Oh, like corrupt man. Yeah, they're all corrupt. I think McGregor will end up fighting one or both of the Pauls. Yeah, but they're hanging out together on the same bus, like. And they destroyed the rumors of fighting Logan in boxing. So it seems like he's not really gonna have a fight with either of those guys, which is a shame because I think he would have beaten Logan and actually got himself back on the right track. But instead, he's gonna return to UFC at some point. When we're all dead and buried, he'll come back and then fight somebody he's gonna lose to. So he had his opportunity and he didn't take it. Or he never had the opportunity in the first place. So there you go. I'm gonna keep looking up that quote in the meantime. Why'd he sue Dylan? Because Dylan Dennis showed photos of his girlfriend basically getting it on with multiple men outside of Logan Paul, and basically just sort of being a flirt all over the place. And what's the word for it? Pouring herself out to other men and posting very sensitive videos of them engaging with her in different ways at parties and in private locations. And this is all before Logan. And basically, Dylan hyped up the fight by saying, dude, you girl's getting it on with every dude next to Sunday, and was posting that. And he was like, dude, I'm trying to sell the fight. And Logan was like, oh, slander. It was dishonest slander, I tell you. Therefore, I had to countersue Dylan Dennis. And yet he still had the fight with Dylan anyway. So obviously he didn't care enough to cancel their fight. But he was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sue you for everything worth. And so basically this is worse than Dylan getting beaten by Logan in boxing. Just put Dylan through legal hell for years and years over just posting some pictures. Logan Paul's wife used to have trains ran on her in her modeling days. Yeah, and all Dylan Dennis was doing was pointing out this that was clearly online, was public information. It was also you'd probably see on Google Images or some other search browser, and Dylan was able to just find them online and just posted them and just said the truth. Bruh, damn, that's way worse than losing a fight. Yeah, he's gonna lose in court and lose all his money as well. And Conor's hanging out with that guy, despite them allegedly being friends. So oh yeah, misery loves company. Misery loves company. So there you go. That was the quote that I was looking for. Misery loves company. And all those guys are just rich, miserable people. So now they bring misery to everybody around them. So did the Paul brothers tamper with Theo Von's chair? Yeah, probably fell out from under him. Shine a light on me. And now interviewing the two real populists, Bernie Sanders and Trump. They're both the same person, guys. They're both the same politician. So how does it feel for you both to be populists, guys? You see that clip? I did not see that clip. Tell me what happened. It's my belief that Conor has no friends, only yes people around him. Well, when you're rich enough, your friends become yes people. Or people that would otherwise be strangers become yes people for you. It's like the rap industry with the hoes, with the ladies who would hang around people all of a sudden, hang around Tupac when he had no women in his life before. It's all for the money. And there's male versions of that, and there's women versions of that. So yeah, you got to scare the hoes. I F with Theo, Dustin, and Bryce Mitchell. I do like Dustin Poirier. He seems like a chill dude when he doesn't talk about politics. Bryce Mitchell's cool when he's not promoting conspiracy theories. Actually, his conspiracy theories are fun because nobody takes him seriously. But if he was taken seriously, I wouldn't F with him. And then with Theo Von, I used to like him. I used to really like Theo. But I feel like Theo sort of giving himself up a little bit. He's like playing both sides when he knows the impact of interviewing. And I don't know, man. I feel like he's on the fence a little too much. You saw it. You reenacted it. Chatelet. Okay, I guess so. Yeah. And probably had his chair fall out from under him. But I don't know. Theo Von used to be cool. And I think he's now sort of given into what some of his friends' suggestions. I gave Dana White when he did that Trump interview, honestly. I mean, like he interviewed those two. I don't know of any others. Yeah, that's the tough part, is because he interviews everybody. So maybe he feels like he can interview everybody and it won't have a impact on anything. But it does, man. It really does. I think he's sort of avoiding the consequences of that, or the stakes that come with that. So whether he's doing it intentionally or unintentionally, I think your actions have consequences. I think Theo needs to know that, because he seems like a bright kid. He seems like a sensitive, understanding person, but I think the guy needs to stay away from the bad crowd, in my opinion. He needs to sort of stay on his own and stay in his own lane. Anyway, moving on to Hank's next big MMA news story. I think there should be some props given to the California State Athletic Commission for not only disclosing the payouts given to every single fighter at UFC 311, helping spark renewed discussions about fighter pay, but providing the actual weights that these fighters came in on fight day compared to what they weighed in at on the scales, which will give fight predictors and bettors lots of insight regarding what shapes, potential weight advantages or disadvantages the fighters on this card are going to have during the fights on future cards. Some highlights of these records from the California State Athletic Commission include Islam Makhachev making $200K in cash, while Money Moicano made $250K, and allegedly now $1 million with a private check for Dana White. Merab Dvalishvili making $500,000 for some bizarre reason. Maybe first guy to defend a belt against a Dagestani fighter makes double their purse or something, despite having only one title defense. Kevin Holland making $250,000. And finally, some of the huge weight discrepancies seen on the card's more major fights, with Ice Cream Belly Hill weighing 13.6 pounds more than Jiří Procházka, and Rainier de Ritter weighing a whole 21.6 pounds more than Kevin Holland. Dude was one middleweight and heavyweight champion for a reason, guys. Arnold Almighty Allen pointed out that he's been on the scales for actual weight post weigh-ins, and said that he's had shoes and a tracksuit on at that time. So the numbers could literally be weighed down by clothing or being skewed out of proportion because there's extra weight on the fighters for actual weight. But I'm not sure if he's right or not, since he said that he's never fought in California, so he doesn't know their protocol for actual weigh-ins. But that's worth considering. Still, these earnings and weights are pretty valuable for the MMA community. So I hope more states can do something like what California's commission is doing more often. And no, not because I'm from here, though that certainly does. But yeah, what do you think about the California State Athletic Commission being more on it in terms of recording the money given and the weights made during the fights? Because I think it's actually pretty valuable information. I'd recommend you guys check out the lists just for the future. I mean, like, he podcasted, interviewed, I don't know of any others. I think he's just that genuine, but yeah, he needs to be careful. That I'm glad that Ryan Welch is agreeing with me on this, because it's just the truth, Ryan Welch. No matter how pure of heart you are, how honest you are, how good you feel your intentions are, those intentions can be led astray by certain people with less good intentions. So you have to be careful who you choose as your company. What do you guys think about the California State Athletic Commission being more, what's the word for it? Oh, God. There's a word for it. It's like being more open, honest, but there's another word for it. I had it in my mind for a second, but it went away. Being more... It's like an adjective for clear, more transparent with the pay and the actual weights. Yes, there you go. Being transparent. Yep. More liberal. That's a good one. Yeah, definitely that. I came lenient. Good attempt, Harry, but Ryan Welch has got a sort of a head on his shoulders. Transparent. That's right. But those are good Synonyms. Liberal. It's sort of true. Man, what is the state commission supposed to do? Set guidelines for Dana to follow? Yes. And regulate how the shows take place. There were times where like the Nevada State Athletic Commission in general was terrible. Like they fined Diego Lopez for jumping onto the fence when he went against Sadiq Youssef. They fined him for jumping on the cage. Everybody does that. And yet Diego Lopez rules and he was fined. And then Arman Tsarukyan got fined for doing that back fist on the fan. I could sort of understand that one a little bit more. But they want him to pay a fine and do it like a PSA video. It's like weird shit. Weird stuff from the Nevada State Athletic Commission. In Paris, France, what was it? They had weird stipulations for the fighters making weight, I believe. And like didn't give them time or like made sure that the Americans or the foreign fighters had a time making weight and they had to check them afterwards and like distract them for a while. And like, I just remember it was a tough time for the American and Brazilian fighters in France for some reason. They're see-through as hell. No, the correct term was transparent. But I mean transparent in terms of being openly disclosing information. Phantom Nest, did you see them pulling Merab off the cage? No, I did not see them pulling Merab off the cage. When was that? Shoot. What was that when he stole O'Malley's jacket? That was when he stole O'Malley's jacket, right? And was on top of the cage and they pulled him downwards. What fight card was that even on? No, that wasn't on 300. But when did that happen? Was that at UFC 311? Did they pull him off the cage when he won? Yeah, in that case, it's sort of ridiculous. Last weekend, they did that. What the fuck's their problem? What's even wrong with being on top of the cage? Leon Rocky Edwards, when he won the belt, was like hanging it over his head. Yeah, I'm the champion, guys. Was dancing and doing his thing. And there wasn't a problem with that. I don't ever recall a news story of them fining Leon Edwards for that. When was the change made? When was it illegal to hop onto the cage? That's been a tradition since like the 90s. Why would you make that illegal or something fining now? Like what's even the line of logic for that? There's such a fine line between being too strict and not strict enough with these commissions. They should be be transparent as possible. What if the commission regulated pay? That too. It'd be interesting. Like if the commission made sure that fighters were paid their fair share and like paid extra, I'd be fine with that, but there's no commission that does that. This commission is sort of regulating pay because fining the fighters for shit. So that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous in my opinion. Unless they have a really, really, really good reason. Like, oh man, he's beating up people in the crowd. He's spitting on it. He did something to havoc on the stadium. Like, I mean, there's only so much you can do. The cage itself is built into the stadium. It's not the arena's cage. It's the UFC's cage, and they install it. So if you jump on UFC property, how is that a no-no for the commission? It makes absolutely zero sense. I don't understand it at all. And it's been going, and fighters have been jumping on the cage forever. So makes no fucking sense. But yeah, it's crazy that De Ridder was 21.6 pounds heavier than Kevin Holland, and Kevin Holland came in as like a fucking stick figure afterwards. What was the dude expecting? Of course, he was getting bodied. Kevin Holland is just such a failure at this point, and he chooses to be a failure, and chooses to have zero confidence in himself, which just results in him getting squashed over and over and over again like a bug. So Kevin Holland isn't UFC material at this point. You guys given up completely against any grappler. He's toast. So eventually, sometimes you got those one-note fighters. You just gotta, You see Holland on the Jackson podcast. I heard that TJ Dillashaw just went into him. He absolutely eviscerated Kevin Holland live and just said, "You're a failure, dude. You're too hard on yourself. You're not going to be a champion. You suck. And honestly, respect to TJ, dude. Like, I know everyone's like, oh, TJ Dillashaw, he cheated once and he got caught for it because he couldn't go down the flyweight because it's literally physically impossible. So he took a drug. Oh no, how terrible. TJ Dillashaw, he's at the very least honest, guys. Whenever he's on a podcast, he just says it how it is. He was the guy who said Anthony Smith turtles up and he shelled up and he's a quitter. He's good at finding quitters, and he's right when he calls someone a quitter. TJ's right. Dude went into fucking Aljamain's fight with a broken ass shoulder, was popping out of the socket every chance he got, and he still fought. Dude knows a quitter when he sees one. So I think he's completely right about Kevin Holland. I think TJ has been like 100% authentic and true in most of his takes, and they're tough takes to swallow, but they're still correct takes from TJ Dillashaw. Ugh. Yuck. Off you go. Are these fucking Riga files or something? Who are these people? Seriously. Insane, man. It was so cringe, just like those last two comments of the guy who I banned. It was so cringe. He was so disrespectful to Rampage the first like half hour. Apparently Rampage made a joke about him. It was so cringy, so disrespectful to Rampage. First, like, oh, cringe. Rampage. Apparently Rampage, Kevin Holland. Disrespectful for half an hour. That's Kevin Holland for you. Apparently Rampage made a joke about him before his fight with MVP, but then Holland's, nah, that ain't why. Yeah. Holland's a joke. And he's way too sensitive. And just, again, quitter's mentality. If he just wants money, hey, guess what, Kevin? You have to actually win the fight to make money. So it doesn't matter if you showed up on short notice. Yeah, you made $250,000. Great. Make more if you won. Instead, you're just a jobber who has no belief in himself. So you don't deserve to compete. If you don't want to be the best in the world, get out. Get out of the UFC. Go compete in karate combat. For all I care. So Kevin sucks. Kevin sucks at this point. People shouldn't be pulling for him anymore. It's true. He was on his way there, by the way, to being criticized like this, and he deserves it. It was a long time coming. Yeah, Rampage was calling out his ego, and he kept denying it. If that ain't ego, what is? Yeah, completely defending himself. Well, I have no flaws whatsoever. Everything you say and everything you do, it's wrong. Again, and I shared a GIF on Discord recently, and you know that scene from SpongeBob where Squidward's like, "Hey, won't you morons quiet down? I'm enjoying some tea." When they're like doing like the skiing, and then SpongeBob does an impression of Squidward. Everybody's an idiot except for me. And then Squidward's like, "Well, it's true." And that's basically the thought line of a narcissist. Everybody's an idiot except for me. Everybody's wrong except for me. I'm the only one who's right. It's like you think of yourself as God almost when you say I'm the only one with knowledge of myself. I'm the only one who's correct. You're inflating your own ego, in my opinion. Hey, Mujahid Khan, welcome, man. Welcome to Hank's Think Tank. I haven't seen you in a while, man. It's good to see you. Salam. Hey, how's it going, man? What do you think of the results of UFC 311? Did you watch that? Yeah, self-perpetuating, exactly. Ryan Walsh is a smart cookie. Can you imitate Chandler walking in on stepson's doubling his wife? God, it's always this impression with Mujahid Khan. He loves it in particular. Oh God, that's terrible, man. I don't want to. I really don't want to. That's messed. But yeah, it's like, whoa, oh my God, dude, I knew this was happening online when I was messaging her, but this is absolutely ridiculous. Now, you boys, you know we're waiting for a third one, okay? So, and it's coming from me. It's not from her, okay? Artificial insemination. I prayed for Merab to win, and you got it, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. And he said, oh yeah, inshallah. Inshallah, it happened. There you go. That's crazy, bruh. No, don't do it. No. Yeah, I didn't go all the way with the impression. Let's just say that. Good morning. Good morning. How's it going, Paradox the Chad? Hey, good to see you in the Split Decision live chat. Can you imitate Conor telling his kid to stand his base when he was 1 and was learning to walk? Stand your base! Stand your base, wee little man! And hey, meet your brothers and sisters. They'll take good care of you, the big old ginger clan, yeah? And you'll be hanging around the clubs and you'll be walking around. You'll be finding the ladies, yeah? Stand your base! Hey, stand! Don't crawl, stand! What's wrong with you? You're going to be an bantamweight champion, I tell you one day, laddie. Hey, kid, this might stimulate you. Have some of my proper 12 Irish whiskey. That'll give you a kickstart, kid. That'll get you walking for us. So, yeah, down some of that beer, yeah. Inshallah, braza. Ugh, alcohol, braza. Good morning. Hey, Chad. Fortunately, my new job doesn't allow me to be in chat very much. I get it. I get it, Paradox of Chad. No doubt. Iliopteria, the little rat. I'll grab him by the scruff and boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Oh, that's stupid Ilya, yeah. Fuck you, Ilya, man. Fuck Usman, yeah. I'll grab him by the throat and strangle him, yeah. Little boom, yeah. What did I miss today? Okay, I'll let you know. And I'm almost done, honestly, so this will be tough. But so Paddy Pimblett, hard sparred Dennis Frimpong. Submitted him. He refused to let go of the choke, but that was because they made a stipulation where neither man could tap. They couldn't tap to it. And everybody blamed Paddy, and everybody said that Paddy was a monster and was too aggressive. None of them knew the context that Dennis was this Dennis Frimpong guy was bullying his friend on the Octagon version of Tough and making fun of his dead grandma. And talking shit about Paddy on Instagram. So there was a lot of context going into it, and Paddy justified, I think, for refusing to let go because they agreed to it. Also called out Moicano. That fight's probably not going to happen, though. He's going to fight Chandler. Merab Dvalishvili got hyped up by Ilya Toria, who basically gave him some advice, called him his beautiful Georgian brother, which is very interesting. It's definitely on the level of Merab and Aljo relationship. It's getting close. But that was a wholesome moment. Also, Merab made up with his former training partner, Magdi Amachov. Amachov was training Umar Nurmagomedov instead of Merab Dvalishvili for their fight. But then Merab bumped into Magdi. Magdi profusely apologized. Merab accepted his apology. They hugged. They said, hey, no hard feelings. This guy, I helped him get room, when he was immigrated to America. He's a good guy, And they had a nice reconciliation. That was a great moment. Also, apparently, Merab suffered a broken back, somewhere late last year. Didn't say anything about it. And just kept it on the low. And it was, even with cuts on his leg and a broken back, was still able to beat Umar Dvalishvili, whereas Umar cried about a broken hand after his fight, which shows levels of sadness and honesty and righteousness. And I think Merab fought through the pain, whereas Umar's just a town crier and a privileged little brat. And then also, it was revealed that Umar Nurmagomedov didn't tell Javier Mendez or Khabib that he even had his broken hand, which basically ruined his chances of winning that fight. No chance for the coaches to change their game plan. And that's one of the reasons why he lost. He refused to talk about his broken hand. And then only talked about it when he cried about losing afterwards. Lol, you said Umar Dvalishvili. I said pretty much the same person, man. They came in at the exact same weight. So you tell me if they're clones or not. Also, Jiří Procházka and Jamahal shared a drink after their fight at U311 and had a good moment of sportsmanship between those two. So that was a good moment. It's nice to know that Hill's not a bad guy, and we all know he isn't, but some people think he is. Also, there are speculations about whether Umar really hurt his back going a couple days before the fight, or if either he ate too much and was way overweight before the fight, and so they made up a reason as to why he couldn't compete to sell the fight later. Or Arman Tsarukyan got popped for PEDs and tested positive, and they swept that under the rug. I don't think that he broke it training with Nina, although I will have to check out the video, I guess, which is going to be torture. But there are other reasons. There are other reasons why. Other reasons might be other potential reasons as to why Arman was pulled out of the fight. And then also Conor McGregor, the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake, the Nelk boys, and Theo Vaughn were all on a bus to Trump's inauguration and shared a selfie, and Nick Diaz called them all dorks, which is absolutely true. Also, it's strange that Conor was hanging out with Logan because Logan is suing his alleged friend, Dylan Dennis, and yet he's hanging out with Logan despite the lawsuit. So with friends like these, who needs enemies? California State Athletic Commission actually gave the fighter the statistics regarding how much each fighter at UFC 311 was paid, as well as what actual weights they came in on fight day. So that's actually some valuable information for MMA predictors and bettors. And Reinier de Ridder was 21.6 pounds heavier than Kevin Holland, which is crazy. And that's it. That's all the news so far. I got one last news story. Big ups to Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett, my brother. Ilya and Merab are making me proud to be Georgian. Yeah. Wait, you're Georgian? I thought you were from the UK, man. You're a UK man, Leon. Don't you know? Don't let him bully your son. Or either that or you're from the state of Georgia. But are you actually Georgian in origin, like Ilya Taporia? You said Umar Dvalishvili. Hill needed that video. Yeah, he absolutely did. Just to patch up his reputation a little. Did you go to the rodeo 2022 in SATX? Because I remember a tall guy that looked like you. I was a tix taker. Just think about it. Tall guy. I wasn't there. I was not there at the rodeo in 2022. Although finally there's someone who I resemble, honestly. A lot of people think Idaho Fight Fan looks like somebody. They thought that Phil from Combat Sports Today looked like who did they say he looked like? I think they said Joshua Van was packing on the pounds or somebody. But they compare him to MMA Joey at some point. But yeah, nobody has a lot of comparisons for me, which is actually good. That shows that I'm unique. I kind of think that Arman topped. He might have. Kevin Holland is a welterweight that stepped up to fight a previous light heavyweight champ. I know, so stupid. But he'll fight anyone for money, it seems. Also, he fought Roman Dolidze, a wrestler, and how did that turn out for him? Also, you like a Dominic Cruz versus Rob Font match? I don't whatsoever. I don't. It's crazy because not only did everybody want Aldo versus Cruz, and they somehow didn't book that. No, instead, Jose Aldo has to fight Mario Batista, the PO freak in bantamweight, and then fight John Martinez before that. He has to fight all rogue gallery of prospects. Can't fight someone his own age. Dominic Cruz was going back and forth with Henry Cejudo on this exact same card that he is, and somehow they didn't make Dominic Cruz versus Henry Cejudo when they were both on the same card. Fucking ridiculous. How do you not make it? They were going back and forth on Twitter. They were hyping it up. Do the matchmakers not pay attention to Twitter? Do they not pay attention to the rivalry between their own fighters and see what's getting hype and what isn't? Because it's just fucking ridiculous, man. They had the opportunity to make Cruz versus Cejudo, and they're on the same card, and yet they didn't just have Font versus Yadong or Cruz versus Henry Cejudo. No, that would be too simple. We have to make it completely convoluted and just switch them up. So I think Cruz is probably going to beat up Font. Font did beat the crap out of what was his name? Kyle Phillips. So actually, Rob Font beat the shit out of Cruz. Come on, dude. Like, it was right there. Cejudo versus Cruz was right there. Hi, Hank. Sorry I haven't been in streams lately. I wasn't even able to watch UFC live. Dude, don't worry about you. No problem, man. You join the podcasts and the live shows on your time. Absolutely, man. Don't worry about it. I'm just glad you're here. I'm waiting for Two Smelly Fingers to show up at some point. He's been gone a few days, and I've felt lonely not seeing him around. But let's get to Hank the Tank's last little piece of MMA news before I sign off. And now some happy news, some more happy news to close out the think tank. Apparently, Nick Diaz is doing a lot better and feeling more optimistic since the last time the MMA fans saw him publicly, shirtless, trying to light something near a parking lot. According to his old teammate and longtime friend Jake Shields on the Overdogs podcast, saying that what he's been dealing with the last few months, most likely drug addiction or a mental crisis, is finally heading in the right direction. And after witnessing firsthand Diaz's struggles, it's a big relief for Shields to finally see his spiritual brother Nick doing well again. At least relatively speaking. Some MMA journalists are anticipating Nick Diaz having another fight announcement from the UFC in the future because of this. But I say to Nick, don't take it. Find a way to get out of your contract. Even if it takes costly legal measures, get out while you can. Make some money off merchandising, get some from your brother Nate, and ride off into the sunset. No one wants you to see you get slept by a younger guy in the octagon again. Trust me. Nobody. Not even your biggest fans. This is a great update to what was an honestly frightening situation for Nick. So I hope he fully recovers and proceeds to get out of the fight game completely with health and his wealth. That's the best ending for him as a fighter, in my eyes. You wore blue plaid and a cowboy hat. Oh, God, man. How are you? What's wrong with you, brother? Yeah, there's definitely bigger names. Lol, he's hot. Oh, Diaz. Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely bigger names that could have been faced up with Dom, but Dom's been out of the picture for so long. I don't know. I mean, he's got a chance. I just think it was not the fight that should have been made. Bro, been thinking about you for 3 years. Been thinking about you for 3 years. What are these comments, man? Bro, been thinking about you. Yeah, exactly. Well, he's hot. Very interesting. Very interesting. That is all I will say. But what do you think about Nick Diaz finally recovering or seeming to be on the path to recovery? Do you think that he's going to fight again? I really don't know if he's ever going to fight again. I hope he doesn't, because I think Nick Diaz, after that fight with Robbie Lawler, just looks like he's in the same phase that Tony Ferguson is right now. Like, he can't beat anybody. So, yeah, I hope that Nick Diaz can get out of the sport while he can. But it's good to know that if he either, if it's an issue of drugs or his own mental well-being, glad he's starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I hope that he can just sue the UFC and get out of there, because he's not going to win a fight in the UFC. What is chat on? I know, exactly. Nothing. We vibing. Okay, man. Strike 2. Nick's always going to be Nick, a brash ass motherfucker, and if the money's there, he'll be there. Yeah, honestly, I don't think Nick's all that brash at this point. I think Nick's, just from interviews I've heard of him, he sounds like he's been beaten down a little bit. Feels like he's not in the best of spirits right now. Seems very depressed and down on himself. So he's always seemed to me like the more thoughtful and sensitive of the brothers. Nate Diaz is just he's what you're talking about, a brash idiot. Nick used to be that. I don't think he is anymore. He's been pulling some questionable moves, not just throwing water bottles, but him talking shit about Brendan Schaub's friend. No, that's Nate Diaz. That's Nate Diaz. You got the brothers confused. I'm talking about Nick Diaz. Strike Force. Oh, he's realized his mistake. Oh, I was thinking Nate. Crap. No, Nate wouldn't be on hard drugs. He'd be good. I don't think he should fight again. Yeah, he can't. That was a bit ago, I suppose. Nick chatting about Nick the G, 5-year suspension. So yeah, for marijuana, it's ridiculous, dude. So stupid. Pride and UFC both suspended him for marijuana, which is just so fucking grandpa, old man shit. It's ridiculous. No. Harry Hughes, sorry. Stop. Strange. Very strange. Penny Lane is in my ear and in my eye. Hair with the troll. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very strange. But yeah, I'm wishing the best for Nick Diaz. I'm not expecting the worst because he actually sounds like he's doing better. But yeah, okay, buddy, you're out of here. Sorry. Yeah, that guy is a little bit of a weirdo. So had to go. Oh well. It's all right, Harry. You're part of the chat too. Nobody hating. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't take that too much longer. So there you go. Yeah, Nick shouldn't fight, but wishing for the best. Yeah. He doesn't need money at this point. Like seriously, he could just take a fraction of what Nate Diaz is making from his time outside the UFC, and yeah, maybe a celeb exactly, but Nate's doing the same thing. If Nate was a brother to Nick, he'd give him a share of that shit. Anyway, I got 4 more minutes. That's wrapping up the news cycle. Is there anything else people would like to talk to me about before I sign off? I have Hank's Tank tier list Thursday tomorrow, covering the best and worst short notice replacements in MMA history. So tune in for that. I put a lot of work into that. Have slides and images and everything. I put a lot of production value into Tank tier list Thursday. So if you got the time, tune in tomorrow night. And that's what Hank the Tank will be doing on Thursday. And then on Saturday, not sure what me and Idaho are going to do on Friday. There's a lot of stuff going on that day. One is sometime in there. There's Bare Knuckle Mania. There's the GFL drafts. There's a lot going on. We'll probably see a stream from Idaho on Friday at some point. And then Hank the Tank will be doing LFA 200 Fight Companion with none other than the one, the only No Chill MMA. So tune in for that. Yeah, Nick shouldn't fight, but wishing for the best. Maybe a celebrity boxing match. DDP versus Sean 2. Does Deshaun make any adjustments? Well, it's strange because Sean Strickland is telling DDP, hey, dude, how about this? Here's a fucking thing, Dreykus. No takedowns, dude. Let's just have a fucking war. Do the man dance. Let's keep it on the feet. Let's fucking go. The war for you guys, dude. For you guys. And Dreykus is like, yeah, no. Don't have to be concerned with the affairs of men. Oh, that was such a dumb, prissy-ass comment from DDP. But if Sean Strickland is concerned with the takedowns, guess who was also concerned with the takedowns? Kevin Holland. And then Rainier DeRitter took him down and beat him up. So I think Sean's gonna make too many adjustments, honestly. If anything, I see Drickus making the adjustments. So I think I don't know, man. I think the fight's gonna play out very similarly, but I think DDP is gonna find the knockout, honestly. I will watch it. Thank you, Mew. Stand command, Drickus. Yeah, let's fucking go. Yes. DDP takes him down within the first 30. Yeah, just like Rainier DeRitter, dude. Ryan Welsh, man. I'm glad to have Ryan Welsh as an addition to this Split Decision live chat. He's been on it for like pretty much the entire stream. Dude, make sure to subscribe to this channel because we upload content Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Mondays, Sundays, Saturdays. We are posting all the time. So make sure to subscribe and check out our good shit because you provide a lot of good commentary, Ryan Welsh. You seem to have thoughts on a lot of stuff regarding MMA. Thanks, Hank. I got you, brother. Sweet. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. That's going to wrap it up from Hank's Think Tank. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for all those who stayed around. If you had to leave, no problem. Don't worry about it. But for those who remain, thank you very much for watching. Tune in to my Tank tier list Thursday tomorrow. And until we meet again, you have escaped the Splitty City, the concrete jungle for now. Hey, how about this, Dreykus? Do one instead of your coach feeling you up and kissing you. You act like a man. You start to do the man dance with Sean Strickland. We're going to cuddle and squeeze and roll over each other in bed. Let's fucking go. Let's do the man dance. You get out of here, Curtis. I don't want to make it a menage a trois. Oh, I don't like you, Sean. I'm going to get rid of my Twitter. Go ahead, Curtis. See if I care. You and me. Let's do the man dance together, dude. Tomorrow night. Let's fucking go.